Hi, folks. Here we are today after the launch of Chris Patrick's new podcast series, Search the Series. And we have some of the wonderful cast here today, and also Chris as well, who is the creator and writer of Search the Series. We have Andrew Still, who plays Andy Murdoch. We have Colin Little, who plays Matt McNair. We have Ewan Cuthbertson, who plays James McCulloch. And we have Kirsty Strain, who plays Sarah McNair. Can I just say, first of all, to you all, a huge congratulations. First 3 episodes are live. Chris, I've just got to come to you immediately. And look at your smile. It's like, I want to feeling, I like to say, give me, one word about how you're feeling, but, I think it might be more than one word you'll have.
Yeah, I mean it's a pinch me moment for sure. It's been like that for, to be honest with you, it's been like that since we started making the series, and today's been one of those days where it's just trying to kind of keep your feet on the ground and not just float away. So it's been amazing just listening to the episodes, and my mum and dad phoned me right after the last episode with some theories and ideas and questions. I thought, this is great. I hope this is happening everybody who's listening. So no, I'm overjoyed.
Great. And it's a bit like, I would say, when you do something like this, giving birth to something that you've been kind of creating for so long. But this has been like an 11-year pregnancy, so to speak, hasn't it?
Yeah, yes, and it has. It's been a long time. It's been a long time. It's been 11 years. To think it. Yeah, I had a moment. I think it was recording with Colin and Kirsty. I think we were about the 6th episode recording or something, and I had like a proper moment where I was like getting quite emotional, because I thought, I can't believe that, and it just can't believe we've got to this stage. And there's points throughout the writing of it and developing where you think, this isn't going to happen, and then you just keep coming back to it and kind of persevering. So it's been an absolute genuine thrill, and I think as somebody who has always wanted to be a writer, and I feel like I feel a bit like a proper writer after a while, after today. So, but it's been a long journey.
Yeah. And talking of journeys, there's so many journeys happen in the series. And I know that when I've been interviewing you for some other things, that we can only talk about so many things. But now, thank goodness, 3 of the episodes are out there. We can start to talk a little bit more openly and less cryptically, shall we say. But there's so many journeys happen, Chris, with Search the Series. And, from phone calls to the journey that Matt McNair is going on, all of these things. For you personally, I'm intrigued to know, where did you write this? Did you do you like go on a journey when you write your podcast, or what did you do to write?
Well, I wrote all of the shop. I mean, I wrote it on bits of receipt paper, in my old job in Tesco's. I wrote it in. I think for me, a lot of it was just kind of grabbing moments where you can, and then I think, I'll write on the train, I'll write in different rooms in the house. I use the notes app on my phone quite a lot, so I'll just kind of start writing scenes and dialogue, and whenever they come in, and then you just kind of bring them together. There was one point where I was quite structured, where I got up in the morning and wrote episode after episode, and then just kind of, whenever you get the time, really, you kind of squeeze in the time to write it. So it's been it's starting on that little bit of receipt paper, and then just kind of wherever I've been. Just, I think because it's been so long writing it as well, it's been everywhere when I possibly could write it. So yeah, it's certainly been on a journey. It's been all over the shop, as I say.
Which is lovely, because when you listen to the podcast and when we get further on, you go to so many different places. And the environment and the atmosphere that you create in all of these places, which is, I think, always quite hard to do in audio as well, is it comes over really, really well. Andrew, I'm just going to come to you now. You play Andy Murdoch. Can I just say, great names, Chris. So many Scottish names. Yes.
Place names, people names, it's all over the shop. It's great.
Absolutely. Even down to the newspaper and everything like that. I love it. Andrew, how did you feel when you read the script? You've been on this journey as well. What were your thoughts, about the character of Andy and stuff like that? Because I'm intrigued by him because he's kind of a little bit off the wall.
Yeah, he's a bit of a tinfoil hatter, so, it's got that kind of vibe to it. In terms about, like, the kind of character and the journey, I remember reading, like, a very, very early version of the script. I mean, I'm not even sure how long ago this was, Chris, maybe 6, 7 years ago when you were doing a first initial pilot. And so, like, I kind of, and the speech is, like, still quite similar, and it was amazing when I got those scripts through. So it was kind of just like that first speech in episode 1, and then to see as I was reading, just him developing and seeing how much had come from that one initial script into this, multi-episode series with all these different character arcs and how much it had changed. Obviously looking at the different characters and then Andy himself, having a little bit more time with him, seeing what was going on, maybe digging beneath the surface. And it is a kind of like, even more so than that time when we first got the script, it is much more of a conspiratorial world. There's like a lot of conspiracies and things that are kicking about. So I got right into that, and and there's some good humor in there as well. Batman's features and things for anybody that's heard the first step. So that gives a good chuckle in the first read through. So yeah, exactly. Had a great time kind of finding that character and finding that craziness.
Yeah, and Andy's character is really pivotal in the first 3 episodes, particularly as well. And we do end, without giving too much away if you've not listened to all 3 episodes, but we do end on a kind of beep at the end of episode 3 as well.
Yeah.
We know Chris Patrick loves a cliffhanger as well. He loves a cliffhanger. So you've been part of these cliffhangers, Andrew.
Yeah. I'm very happy, to be that kind of cliffhanger. It was the first time being a cliffhanger, so that's quite an exciting thing to have on my CV, So
it's like the Brender's Booth moment, as they say.
Exactly. And then the pub and everything, for those who haven't yet to hear it, listen.
Absolutely. What do you think is Andy's kind of drive? What is it that kind of kicks him off to want to do what he does? Because obviously he's spotted these people, and it's that whole thing of are people going to believe me? What is it that drives him to do what he does?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's like it's like that thing in the title. I think when we were sitting down and talking about it in the room, reading it through the first time, it was like every character is on this journey. Like every character is searching for something, and I think with Andy, it's obviously searching for the superheroes, ostensibly, like that is the kind of like main thrust and main drive. But also, with the community that he kind of builds up around them, I think he's searching for like something to bring him closer to people. I get the vibe that he is a bit of a loner, so the fact that he has this thing to reach out and to share, while it might be a bit crazy, that's I think that's a kind of driving force behind them. So being believed, finding these superheroes and creating this community, I think that's his kind of drive as a character.
Absolutely, and he does that very well in the pub, as you say, as well. All these people from all over Scotland are there. I love the mention of Greenock and Dundee and all these kind of places. It makes it truly Scottish.
Well, exactly, and who doesn't love free shots as well, So, again...
Now, I'm assuming there was no shot drinking while you were recording.
No, it's pure water. I've got the soda stream here. It was plenty of soda stream. That was all.
Soda streams are the way forward, I say, absolutely. Now, just in terms of that, just for all of you as cast members, this was recorded remotely due to the way the world is as well, and you were in a studio, whereas normally you'd be in the studio. And I know that you did an initial read through, which I was at as well, and it was lovely to see everybody in that room. How did it feel? Colin, I'll come to you. How did it feel recording? Especially because I love the whole kind of banter, shall we say, that you and Kirsty Swain have with your characters of Sarah and Matt. It feels like Sarah's very much in control of you, can I just add? But how did you feel to get that atmosphere, when you're not in the same room as well?
Well, do you know, eh, I guess the last couple of years have sort of prepared people for that in a little bit of a way. You know, we're a lot more used to uh, meeting digitally, and obviously with the way the industry has been, a lot of rehearsals, a lot of shows, a lot of just hangouts, whether it's Zoom quizzes or anything else, have all been done uh, digitally. So that sort of helped a little bit. Obviously, myself and Kirsty have worked together a few times over the years as well. So it wasn't too bad actually. We were very lucky. The digital studio software that we were using was great, and obviously Chris was there to sort of help us with any questions we might have had. But to be honest, you know, it was very well written dialogue, and a lot of that banter was in there. Obviously, myself and Kirsty got to play about with some of it, but that relationship was right there in the script from the beginning, which I'm it certainly makes it a lot easier than having to sort of if there's definitely a relationship there on the page, then it can be a lot easier to play. And then of course having that freedom to bounce around and play with it just helped. And yeah. The sort of attitude that Kirsty brought to Sarah certainly helped as well.
Honestly, I think it's terrific. And I think because of that intimacy when you're listening to it, in your ears kind of thing when you're walking, it's like it's even stronger, Kirsty. It's fantastic. It really, really is. There's just such it feels like you are brother and sister, and just the way that you take the mickey out of each other as well. How do you feel about playing Sarah McNair?
What Colin was saying about how Chris just really writes brilliant characters. They're really fleshed out on the page. So the script gives so much information right away, and that relationship. And for me, because I think for Sarah, family is at the heart of everything. So although there's all this banter, it's done through a protective side. Like she's got this sort of protective nature, I think, here, that she kind of uses her strength with, and then when we get that sort of banter, it's a check-in kind of thing. And I think what Colin was saying as well is because we know each other already, there's a bit more of a shorthand when you're really comfortable and at ease with an actor, you really trust. Kind of had that organic intimacy already there in a way that kind of added to the whole process of being able to record, and the way Chris sets things up as well, keeping things nice and loose, in a really supportive way. But I love this character because she's got such a power and such a strength, but she's a big softie at heart. I think I've spoken about that before. I think I was asked about what if she was a food, what kind of food would she be? She's a soft boiled egg. She's hard on the outside. She's got this shell, and then she's got this lovely soft center. She's full of heart really, but she's hugely protective. And I think that to her dad as well. Again, trying to be careful what we say, but there's a protectiveness there at the heart of everything that she does.
She's so protective because we hear that in the first episode that she's so worried about Matt because it seems like Matt is always working. He's a bit of a workaholic and he needs to go and sit on the beach and have his cocktails, as she kind of says at one point. But that shows that real kind of compassion and protectiveness that she has, which is a credit to you, Chris, as a writer, to be able for that to come over for the characters and stuff like that as well. And Matt seems to have the bit between his teeth once he gets this video from Andy, to show that there's these superheroes that are there, then they're disappearing, and who are they? This comes out in the first episode, but it's like he really has the bit between his teeth that he wants to do this and he wants to succeed, doesn't he, Colin?
Yes, he. So I think with Matt, obviously, and there's this sort of overwhelming, well, this shadow that kind of hangs over both Matt and Sarah, the loss of their father, and a strange loss because it's not one they just don't know where he is or what happened to him, and I think that sort of grief and that sort of it fills a sort of void that they try to fill in whichever way they can. And I think for Matt, it's just plunging himself headlong into into work or the next story or chasing down leads, because it's a sort of coping mechanism for him. And I guess I don't know, Kirsty will be able to correct me on this, but I think I get the impression that sort of Sarah's coping mechanism is sort of family and keeping an eye on Matt and focusing on not losing any more of the family, I guess, and keeping them together and what they're building.
That's
Yeah,
exactly it.
Yeah,
Reining him in.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
about reining him in and protecting him, and that is, yeah, exactly, completely that.
Absolutely, and as Kirsty brought up the food thing, because as you know, I like to give comparisons, and you compared Sarah to a soft-boiled egg, but Colin, you compared Matt to a hamburger, and
I did.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, which kind of does what it says on the tin.
Yeah, something that can be eaten on the go, not necessarily hugely nourishing, but gets the job done. And that was a very unique thought. Nobody else compared their character to a hamburger. Nobody at all. Just me.
No, I believe my character was a beef burger.
But some of them were plain with
Nourishing.
cheese, some were just plain completely as well. Actually, Andrew, can I just ask you, because what character would you let me say that again. What character would you compare Andy Murdoch to then as well?
What food was that? Sorry.
Yeah, what food would that?
I was thinking about this before. I think he would be like a sausage egg McMuffin, because I think it's like an early morning. He's got a steak out. He's just going in through the drive-through. Funnels are like cups and things in his car. I get that vibe, So binoculars on the dashboard, that sort of thing. That's the vibe I get, like, in a non-creepy, totally as non-creepy as that can be. Yes, exactly.
I love these thought of all these cups and like empty sugar kind of packets and everything is carried diet or something like that as well.
Yeah. Early morning stakeouts, all the coffee, all the McMuffins.
But I'm just thinking with
the tinfoil hat.
And tinfoil hat, yeah. Or extra tinfoil, just to pop it on.
The McMuffins and the hamburgers, I'm thinking maybe you need to have a scene set in a burger bar next time, Chris, at McDonald's or something like that.
Definitely.
They all meet there. Ewan, I've not spoken to you yet, and you, of course, played James McCulloch, and you, of course, also compared James to a burger as well.
A beef burger, yes. Not a hamburger, a beef burger. Filling, quality, well made, not fancy, but it does the job.
Absolutely.
So better than a hamburger, I think, is ultimately the point I'm getting to.
Yeah, I've kind of got the feeling here, Colin, Ewan saying that his character's slightly stronger or better than your character there as well.
Well, we'll see. I don't remember Ewan getting mentioned on the radio today.
No. I did, but just not in that program.
Yes.
Let's just draw a veil over that, though.
Yeah, we'll avoid that. Yes, there is definitely a bit of a power struggle, I think, between not only Matt McNair and McCulloch, but also just between me and Ewan at the best of times.
Always, constant, always.
It's good banter indeed. So James McCulloch, obviously, he's kind of I would say just now, is he one of the good guys? Are we? Do you think we know that just now from the episodes that we've seen?
Well, I feel very much the concept of good and bad is subjective and open to interpretation to many degrees. But yeah, he's a bad guy. It's difficult. It's very difficult. If you're going to take Colin and Kirsty as the protagonists, then I'm the bad guy in it. But
I give us some
everyone's bad
philosophical
guys, so everyone's good guy somewhere. It depends. I suppose. Let's see who wins. They write history, so we'll find out after the first series whether or not I'm the bad guy. That's the nice way to put it.
Now, in a way, we've got Sarah and Matt are kind of together as a team, and then we've got yourself and Eleanor Wells, played by Natalie Clark, who can't be here this evening. But you're kind of a little team between you, and I think that's lovely what you've done, Chris, is that you've created kind of partnerships. I'm not saying like they're like crime partners or anything like that, but in a way they are. But there's a really nice partnership that comes out there as well. What do you think drives that then, Ewan, as well?
Well, see, again, unfortunately, just the idea of trying to not saying too much because I'm aware of what may happen in the future, and I don't want to say it, but I feel that a large part of what drives it is a genuine connection between James and Eleanor, whether that is one of employer-employee or friends or more, don't know, but at various points throughout, there's sprinkled little moments that suggest there's something that's very, very strong between them, and I feel that for McCulloch is a big driving force because he believes in what Eleanor's doing, he believes in what he is doing, and he believes in what the Foundation is doing.
Fabulous.
That was very well answered without spoiling anything. Well done.
Thinking. I was just about to say, and we'll find out what happens in the future episodes. Tune in every Tuesday so that you can find out. Andrew, what was it to say as well? Yeah, now forgive my pronunciation just now. You find the Chris will go for it, and Andrew, I know you'll know as well. Is it the slange? How pronounce it? Slaniger.
Yeah.
I was like earlier when it was like making my tea, was like Slaniger, and I knew that I'd automatically get it.
Just think Slaniger like Noel Gallagher.
There we go. That's it. I will remember that now, Ewan. I will remember that. But yeah, so Andy spots these Slanigers, and that's referenced throughout as well. What do you feel are the kind of key things in the first kind of 2-3 episodes that you're in that add to the story? Just, I know that a lot of people will have listened in already, but some people might not have. But what are the key things that you kind of contribute as a character to the story, because it's very much driven by the information that is drip fed from you?
Yeah, I think the story is a mystery, you know. I think it's the it's that mystery of what's happening, what's coming next, and I think Andy is the kind of seed of that mystery. I guess he's like kind of, lays that foundation for it then to kind of veer off in all different avenues. So I think like Andy's contribution would be that that beginning spark, that sets the mystery off in place. And then just kind of craziness unfolds without kind of giving too much away,
And I love this idea though that Andy brings all these people together who are then trying to search for the superheroes. And I would love, Chris, well, for the whole team, if people started doing this across Scotland, people might just start to go, let's see if we can see any sightings. Maybe we should start to take some video footage and, as you say, make it a little bit real, that the audience are going on a journey with us. Because I'm sure there maybe are some superheroes, roaming about the land of Scotland. But with that feeling of having something that feels real, Chris, you were really inspired by Ghostwatch, weren't you?
Yes, yeah. Ghostwatch really kicked off the idea for the story, because it was. I mean, it was just I think obviously when I watched it, we knew that it was a fictional show. It was a drama, and it was. I think I don't know how they build it, but the whole thing about it was people thought it was real. You had Michael Parkinson in the studio, and it was this paranormal investigation, and that really thought, I wonder if you could do that. And the initial idea was, right, a documentary, and it's a mockumentary kind of thing. I'm glad of where it developed to now, because I think there's just so many kind of great kind of fictional documentaries out there. I was like, you know what, that's kind of been done. I want to do something else. So, but I would love nothing more than if somebody actually thought this is this is a true story. Oh my God, this whole thing. That would be great. It would be fantastic. But yeah, I think it was that Ghostwatch was the kickoff, and then there's other inspirations in there. Jurassic Park and Ghostbusters, X-Files, Lost, just little references you get in there, and you kind of little Easter eggs or things that are kind of always not my spin on it, but kind of going, right, oh, that makes me feel a bit like it would be something that was said in Ghostbusters or Jurassic Park or Lost. And I think the emotion, particularly, just going back to Lost, I think the thing that kept me tuning in each week, obviously had the mystery, was the characters. I loved the characters in that show, absolutely adored them, and that's the way I started to feel about the characters in this show. And I thought, I really care about these, and there's this emotional drive, and there's a heart throughout the whole series, and that was what I kind of tried to do with Search. And so I mean, yeah, Ghostwatch was the kicker in 2011, like 1992 that aired originally, and it is what it is now. Yeah, it's a little. I think I said to you before, Lisa, in another interview, it's, you know, I certainly feel like I'm standing on the shoulders of giants with you know, the inspirations that have kind of formed this. Then you put a Scottish spin on it and try to make it a thing that only you could write.
Absolutely, and your dialogue's so beautiful to read as well, you know, and to speak as an actor, and when we hear it as well, it flows like really, yeah, beautiful. It feels real, you know, and it feels like we are on this journey, and especially with this concept that you have created with the phone calls as well. Because sometimes I go, oh, what are phone calls there for? It's kind of a cop out to put phone calls in, especially in like theatre plays, or, you know, it's such a kind of, oh, well, we'll make them have a phone call. But it really works, and it adds to this kind of idea that, as I say, the audience are going on a journey with it. Kirsty, how do you feel like, you know, with those phone calls and, you know, in the script as well?
Because I think as the search itself goes on, phone calls add to that intensity and that drama. You know, because you know there's things happening. You know, when you hear things in the background, there's drama happening within the calls. You're hearing bits of things outside of the conversation as well, but also the intimacy of some of those calls. I mean, particularly between myself and Colin, when we have those exchanges that are a bit more bonding and a bit more intimate. Some of the events that happen later, again, not to sort of say what happens, but it's amazing how we can have high drama, intensity, and build action through phone calls, but then also have this delicate, full, vulnerable intimacy through a phone call as well. I think it's a brilliant device to work with, and I think Chris has done an exceptional job in how he scripted that.
Absolutely, and it works really, really well. What inspired you to do that, Chris, with the phone calls? Was there anything particular?
I think there's a couple of things. I think Homecoming was a podcast that was quite an inspiration. I think that, and to be honest, there's some phone calls in that. It wasn't all phone calls. And then I think just the idea of going, to be honest with you, it became from what can we make with relatively low key. The pilot, to kind of give you an insight to that, the pilot that we shot, we did like a Zoom call or a conference call with the actors, and then I just recorded it on my mobile phone. So it was as low key as that. So it's kind of like, what can you do where you don't need to, you know, you're not compromising on quality of recording, but something that's kind of almost, it could be DIY essentially, and obviously developed from there. But yeah, I think that there was at times having only the phone calls was very hard to work around, because there's like, okay, how's this scene going to play out if there's nobody on the phone? And that was kind of challenging to work that out. But I think and also you're thinking, okay, are people going to get fed up with listening to phone calls? But I think it works in such a way, and there's enough difference in the phone calls, and there's a few little bits and pieces kind of thrown in there that aren't phone calls, just to give myself a break from writing those conversations that way. So it was a part of the challenge. And I think as well with podcasts, I think when I was starting writing this, I was like, okay, what's the reason? What's the people? How are people listening to this conversation? And I like the idea that people are it's like people are eavesdropping in, and you've got the little sound as if you're finding the frequency and you're listening in. And that kind of it kind of adds into the conspiracy sort of thing and the political thriller paranoia that I wanted to put in there. So a little bit of everything inspired that. But again, the kicker was I'm such a fan of film, TV, podcast, books, so I'll always kind of get little ideas when I watch something or listen to something in Homecoming. When we're talking about the podcast the other days, was going, okay, if you what's your tempos, what's the where's the bar set? For me, it's those kind of shows, and you're trying to kind of again take inspiration from that and make your own version of it.
And phone calls are such an intimate thing anyway, which brings the voices right into things and very personal. And I love the idea that you have Matt sometimes leaves his phone on, so that Sarah can hear what's happening as well. And it's kind of I think it's a really interesting device, and I would love to see that go into a hopeful, fingers crossed, series 2. But that way of communicating between all of the characters, and I know that Eleanor and James communicate in that way as well. And I think I remember reading it on the page going, oh, how's that going to work? Phone calls, that was my first thing. And then going, no, this does work. And I think it's a really good device. And some people may hear it and go, oh, I might use that in some stuff as well. Hopefully not, everybody. But no, I think it is a really clever thing. Ewan, now, you compared James McCulloch to, I think it was an AC/DC song and also a Bryan Adams song.
Yes.
I loved how we had both of these
a pitch perfect style mashup.
Yeah.
Everything I Do and If You Want Blood, I believe.
Yeah.
Yes.
It shows the diversity of the character of James. Do you want to just chat to me a little bit more and to people who are listening, what a little bit more about James and what he's all about, kind of thing, with thinking those things in mind with the songs?
Well, yeah, I mean, on the very surface, he seems a fairly standard kind of head of the security service of insert name, corporation, foundation, whatever. But yeah, it's just but I think you find that he's not that he has. I'm really struggling. He has a heart, and he also does have a moral compass, which, to be honest, is quite nice. Because yeah, if it's too easy to make a bad guy if you're going to put labels on things. It's too easy to make someone just out and out bad, out and out evil. Like, okay, so we need them to be bad. Okay, they do this horrible thing, but there are lines that Jamie won't cross. There's that McCulloch doesn't cross. There are things that he feels is too much, but he will do everything that is necessary up to. Not up to anything. He'll do everything necessary for a particular job, but he won't. It's difficult. I am trying to justify a bad guy.
But
it feels like a strange thing, but he's there. I made a very good 3D character, and you should listen to the whole series to find it all out. I'm really struggling to explain it properly without using examples from the stories. So
from later on. With McCulloch and Wells, just from the writing of it, those characters, and to be honest with you, it was the same with the characters across the board. When everybody was cast and everybody confirmed that they were involved in the project, I went back and went through everything and go, is this good enough for the calibre of actors that we've got involved? And some of it, in my opinion, wasn't. So I went back again and rewrote conversations between Colin, Kirsty, Ewan, and I think the biggest changes were Ewan and Natalie, Wells and McCulloch, and Paul Kaczynski's character John, and Cameron Fulton. I think those who plays a character in the third episode. But I did it across the board from everybody, because you get a cast, you go, these are all great actors. I need to kind of give them something that they're going to enjoy playing with and going to be glad that they signed up to do it. And so that, and with the Wells and McCulloch example, that was very much, and the previous draft was just the two of them really moving the plot. There was no kind of nuance there. They were just the quote unquote bad guys, or the antagonists. But there's more to those characters, a lot more to those characters now, and that was again just when you cast people who are fantastic, as every member of the cast is, you go back and go, okay, I need to level up here. I need to make sure that these, this is a job that these guys are going to enjoy doing. So yeah, it was when I thought the scripts were finished, they weren't, so I had to rewrite for 15 actors because I thought, oh, these guys are really good. This some of this stuff isn't. I need to go back and make it better. So and that I hope is, and I think the performances that everybody gives kind of really adds layers and nuances and to the series, and just, yeah, that was just to run on from what you were saying there.
And we find out at the end of the first episode, I think it is, that Eleanor and James are up to something, and they're kind of have some people that they're looking for themselves that they thought they had control of, so to speak. So there's a kind of nice little bit of intrigue at the end of episode 1 that links to the story that Matt is now finding, and I think that's really beautifully woven in. We have this kind of split that here's Matt has been sent this video about people disappearing, and here is then James and Eleanor saying, oh, we are losing people that we don't have control. Something is happening that is out of their control, shall we say. Again, I'm being really cryptic. It's nice to go, oh, as an audience, you go, I wonder if these two stories will match up, which I obviously hope they do, because then we're going somewhere else. But just in terms of, the whole kind of idea of superheroes, because it has changed its name as well. Because was it originally Search for a Superhero as well that you had?
Yes, yeah, it was. It was originally Search for a Superhero, and yeah, I'm so much happier that we changed it because it's so much more than just that. And I think, obviously, you think beyond. You try not to think beyond the series one. You hope we're going to get more, and there's more story to tell. Or is there? You need to listen to all the episodes. Search became kind of this unifying theme with all the characters, and the thing I thought, this is actually, it's more than just a superhero search kind of thing. It's more than that. So yeah, I'm glad that and that was within conversations with people. It was in conversation. Actually, the biggest thing was a conversation with the Big Light, who were so happy to be part of their network, and that was an early meeting with them. They sort of said, have you thought about maybe a different title? And then I was like, oh, actually, I had kind of been thinking about it, but now that you say it, I'm like, okay, it's definitely going to change. So, and I think it's just a much stronger title.
Yeah, because as you're saying, as we've talked to yourself and the characters, everyone's kind of searching for something as well, aren't they? Kirsty, you talked a little bit about what is it that Sarah's searching for, and I think doesn't just work on one level. There's so many different things. Do you want to just have a little bit of chat about that?
Since what's happened with her father, her whole purpose and life purpose sort of shifts, and she's sort of ultimately, I think she's searching for a purpose now, and she's made that purpose family and protecting what family she has left. And then ultimately that search changes. Again, I can't say too much about emotion. It's always going to be the case, but physically there's a different search that happens for her as things change. And then I think she changes quite a bit is very changed by what happens, by the events that spill out. But I think, yeah, her search shifts a little and becomes much more purposeful and on point by the end. It is hard to talk about without giving away twists and turns. There's so many. But she's
people will listen then.
Yeah, she's so changed by the events that transpire. And I think ultimately what she's searching for shifts from something that is just very internal to something that is both internal and external by the end. Hopefully that's helpful.
No, absolutely. And I think that she is, as you've said, really driven by family. And in so many ways, you've written a script, Chris, that is that's what the story is. It's all about the family. And in another way, it's like the backdrop is the searching for the superhero. You know, it's about the people, which is really lovely, because you could have just created something which there's this mysterious thing going on, and it's just all about that. But any good story has to have these characters that we care about and that we genuinely are rooting for them as well, and going, yeah, we want them to be happy. We want them to find, I think it was Natalie, and when she'd spoken about her character, was, you know, and Karen was for them to find peace within themselves as well. And everybody's always searching for all these different things. Why did you use then, Chris, the idea of superheroes? Is that something that you'd thought about for a while then?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge fan of superhero movies, and you can see the Iron Man art reactor behind me. I was a huge fan of it, and I thought, what can I do? And again, it becomes of going, right, what can you do that you can maybe actually manage to pull off? So I was kind of trying to write this kind of low key, low budget superhero story. I'll be honest with you, the more I wrote it, the less interested I became in the superhero aspect of it, and you genuinely, and I just was like, I love these characters, and the more you develop it and then it started the kind of the sort of the idea about the heroes and the mysterious things and the strange things going on, and the emotion and the kind of the human drama started to kind of intersect, and that was where I thought, right, okay, this is more interesting now. You know, it's so yeah, as I love those kind of stories. I absolutely just think they're brilliant, but I was like, okay, what can I do that's yeah, you've got a bit of that in there, but there's something that's different, and that people are going to bring people on board, and that was the characters, the human drama at the heart of it, and the emotion, more than anything. I love. I think I said earlier about Lost. I'll get into a show for the characters, and I'll stay for the characters long beyond when the original, whatever the plot is, kind of wraps up, if they come back. So that was definitely, yeah, I don't even know where the original idea for super. I think it was just because I was like, I love superheroes. I love, you know, these kind of stories, and there was some dialogue that's in later episodes that I found kind of interesting to write about. Okay, you hear about the superhero side of things. What's the other side? You know, have a listen to other conversations, listen to other points of view about it. So, and then when I was about to spoil something there, so I'm going to stop.
Oh, careful, Patrick.
Almost.
But what you've done also as well is that, because it's not just about the superheroes, as you say, you got a bit bored of that. You've given everything real heart. You've given the characters real heart, and that gives you scope for, like, in all seriousness, a series 2. Because if it just became about the one story, then you go, oh, that's finished. But you've got scope to, like, move that forward as well. And I know you were saying the other day you've already got ideas for, you know, the first episode of series 2 if this happens and stuff like that as well. But I think it's nice to be able to give it that scope for people to kind of be left on a cliffhanger, I guess, even at the end of a series as well, which is really nice. And we want people to talk about it, and, you know, that whole thing of going, you know, if you're watching or listening, going, oh, I think this is what's happening. It'd be great to get a little bit of, you know, interactiveness with our audiences as well, for them to go, oh, this is what's happening here, and this is who I think, you know, Eleanor and James are, and, you know, and it's nice just to hear what audiences think, because we all do that as audience members ourselves when we listen to things or watch things, and we go, oh, I think it's this, and then someone else will go, no, that's not right. So it'll be nice to have a wee kind of debate about all of that, with any thoughts that people have as they're watching it. And you've also made a choice to, which I think is brilliant, is to not put all the episodes there all at once. You're dropping them on a Tuesday, you know, into the podcast channels, and now linked to the Big Light Network, which is amazing. Who this has been delivered in association with as well. And also, I just want to mention that the whole project has been funded by Creative Scotland as well, which is brilliant. But yeah, so they're dropping every week, so there's not that chance that you go, I'm just going to binge on them all at once. Of course, if you wait to the 22nd of March, you can do that, because they'll all be out then. But I think the idea is that people listen to the first 3, and then it's like, oh, I want to wait, like you did in the old days.
Yeah. I something I still love doing that with shows. There's shows you binge, and there's shows that if they're kind of set on cliffhangers and mysteries that you want to kind of parcel out each week. And I think the third episode cliffhanger, which I won't go into, is a cliffhanger in all caps, and and that was kind of thought. I reckon this, when people hear that, they'll be like, what's going to happen next? And then, but they need to wait a week. So, and I love that, and I think it is because you want the series to build an audience, and you want the series to get gain traction with, and hopefully get some fans and stuff. And that conversation, the theories, the show. I think one of the most recent. I mean, obviously there's Line of Duty, and One Division was one of the ones I think last year, which it felt like that had been missing for a while, like that kind of show, and they could, even though they're on a streaming platform, they could just dump it and go and watch it, but they didn't. And I loved kind of theorizing and having the conversation with people, each week, and then you get to the end of it, and then you hope you built like a kind of a wee fan base, a wee audience to then. So, and it's just, I think as well, it's just to kind of, it's just to kind of keep we want to keep on talking about it every week for a little while, and it's a fun way to do it, and it's exciting it's exciting.
Yeah, and it'd be great by the time the last episode launches is released on the 22nd of March. That there could have been Twitter, Instagram, TikTok interaction, about things. I'd love to take Colin. Let's just go out and about with you and take some little kind of videos of you searching for things. We
could do that. We could do that. We could absolutely do that.
Get Colin's partner to hide things around the house, and then Colin has to find them. And we just make TikTok videos of just like, where's my sock? Where's my sock?
I spend most of my time looking for the remote control for the telly. So yeah.
Where's the sock?
A question I've got for all of you, because I like little comparisons and to build up your characters and stuff, and because it is about superheroes. Now I know that sometimes I give you some of these things in advance, so your face will go, oh no, but maybe you'll have an automatic answer as well. So two things for you.
Oh dear.
If you were a superhero, what superhero would you be? And then if your character was a superhero, what superhero would your character be as well? Oh, Kirsty's got that in her head straight away. I can see by the look in her eyes.
That was fear. That was fear if I don't know. I need to think about that.
It's really fun to end on a fun note, but it's a fearful note that I meant. You have a thought on that?
I'm trying to remember a particular superhero. If I was a superhero, I would be Dr. Manhattan, because I've forgotten exactly what it is. It's basically Dr. Manhattan can pretty much control the entirety of reality if you actually break down the science of it all.
And he wears no clothes.
He can choose. He can choose if he wants to wear clothes, like we all can. So that's not a superpower. We all have that power, Colin.
He wears no clothes and he's bright blue.
I can move the camera.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. See the film.
We'll find out how much like Dr. Right. Anyway. But Dr. Manhattan is pretty much one of the most powerful beings in all of creation because of what he could do. But for McCulloch, there's a bit more in keeping with his character, but I cannot remember the character's name. Is Christopher, I need your help here. It's a mutant, a Marvel mutant, whose power is they can basically hunt down the other mutants. I've forgotten their name.
Oh, I can't remember either. But I know
what I mean, though,
I
know
what you mean.
He's in the film.
But
Even Merchant plays him in the film. I just remembered.
You could do a little Google while I ask Colin the same question. Then, if you want to Google that, and then we can
googling it.
Colin, what about you? First of all, what superhero would you be, Colin Little? What superhero?
I would inevitably be the Incredible Hulk. I think that's. I'm not a delicate soul.
Just so you can get bigger when you're angry.
Yeah.
Okay, Colin, another superhero that doesn't wear any clothes really either.
He wears stretchy purple pants. Purple pants. Much like I did for the majority of recordings. And Matt McNair's a slightly different kettle of fish. Matt's a bit of a straight arrow. Matt Matt, he's a bit of a crusader. He's probably more of a sort of Captain America or Superman or something like that. He's a kind of white knight sort of character. Is our Matt McNair? He's not a baddie, and he's got a bit of a sort of sense of humor about him. He's a wee bit he's quick with a wee one-liner or so. Certainly, we start to see that at the end, and he's always got a wee trick or something up his sleeve as well. So maybe something like that. Certainly a bit more delicately deft of hand than the Incredible Hulk, and that I would be.
There's no typecasting in there then for you.
I've changed. I've realised I've changed my mind.
Go on.
Sorry. The mutant I was thinking of is Caliban, but Caliban's actually kind of got quite a lot of weaknesses, so I'm going to change it to Kraven the Hunter. Yeah, because Kraven the Hunter is just awesome, and he's a really good hunter.
You're just for myself.
He's a character from DC. He's pretty much he's just the best hunter in the world. Possibly in the whole of the universe. He's just awesome. Whereas Caliban can find mutants, but is like can't have sunlight and stuff, so maybe he's a bit too weak. So Kraven the Hunter.
Great, brilliant.
Sorry, there's two. I'm going to come back with multiple answers as I go. Oh, actually, this way. You should have fine tuned it a bit more to at the very least one universe.
I love your passion about it, although you, and that's great. Maybe there's like some inspiration here for another series of something else, Chris, with these superheroes that we're talking.
Judge Dredd. Oh, of course, Dredd. But with that, no, sorry, I'm going to mute myself.
You've set him off. I mute him quick. Yeah. Someone mute him.
Kirsty, what about you?
Definitely have one for Sarah. I think Sarah's Wonder Woman, to be honest. I think she's really multifaceted and she's really strong. And yeah, she strides out for what she believes in. For myself, I was scratching my brains. I was like, is Inspector Gadget a superhero? Because like he really means well, but he's so clumsy and all over the place. So then I thought, well, Rogue, because Rogue from X-Men is like she's got a big heart, but like again, when she touches things, they kind of don't. She sort of takes on other people. I'm quite empathic and I sort of take on other people's stuff. So I suppose that's where I'd go. I'd be Rogue myself, and then Sarah would be Wonder Woman.
Fabulous, that's great. I must say, you're seeing a lot of traits in yourself that I have also as well. Chris, what about you? Who obviously you've not got a character for you to compare your superhero to, but what about you yourself? What superhero does Chris Patrick?
I mean, I love Spider-Man. I think Spider-Man's is fantastic. I mean, when you said superhero, it was a time traveling one because I'd love to, back and see the Beatles and do that. Just not use anything, not use the power for good. Just more content. Just go back to the Cavern Club and those kind of things. But I think superhero. I love Spider-Man, and although I think I'm more Thor from Avengers Endgame, and if you've seen the Avengers Endgame, you know the version of Thor I'm talking about. He just likes beer and Iron Brew, and so that first act of Avengers Endgame is probably the closest to me. But yes, there he is.
There we go.
And I do have a few bits of memorabilia. So that, but yeah, I would go with that. I'd say one of those two. Again, I'm like you, and I'll think of something after. Go, and I love Hulk as well. Although Bruce Banner, I think I like the again Avengers Endgame Hulk probably. Any of the characters from Avengers Endgame.
That's what we need. It's more. I think it's sometimes about thinking about what is our superpower that we would like, and I like that idea of what you were saying about going back in time, but not for any specific reason to change things, but just to absorb the atmosphere and being. Yeah, I'd love to go back to the 50s. It'd be great. Yeah. But just when you were just showing us, was that a Lego creature there?
Yeah, it's Christopher Patrick from Avengers Endgame.
Lego Chris Patrick.
See,
100%. That is
I sorry,
uncanny.
I'm trying. It's very difficult to try and get it to focus properly on.
And there we
Is
go. There we
that
go.
working?
There we
To
go.
try and
Yeah. Well, what I
not
was actually,
perfect.
the reason I was actually saying that, Ewan, was I was just thinking, end of series 1 comes, and, we've got this big fan base, and, everyone's just talking about Matt and Sarah and
and
James.
nothing else.
And everything. But I'm just wondering, maybe we should have, I think Chris knows where I'm going with this, maybe we should start to have maybe kind of Lego characters of the characters from Search, or, some like dolls made, a Matt McNair doll maybe, and a Sarah McNair doll, and it could be some kind of memorabilia, key rings, whatever the thing is, but we
Right.
could get some merchandise on the go, and some stuff
I
like
think that's a great idea. I'm not going to show you
Amazing.
properly, but I've shown other people. I have a Lego figure of myself and Natalie already, so
Oh,
it
wow.
works.
There
That's
you
just us
go.
though.
Get on
Fabulous.
Etsy.
Yeah.
Fabulous, exactly.
But yeah, I think this could genuinely work as a Lego series, or other building blocks are available series. And it's also because there are some really, really, really great locations throughout the story. Partly because Christopher is a fantastic writer, partly because Scotland's just a gorgeous, stunning, dramatic place. But there are some really, again, unfortunately, in later episodes we can't talk about too much. But there are some particular episode like moments I can think of where the setting will just make a fantastic set, or even just going from the first view, that pub
I'd
would
love
be
to go to that pub.
a really good pub to play around in.
It's
Yeah.
interesting
100%.
just what you're saying there, Ewan, about the atmosphere that Chris has created in all the different locations. Even when I hear it, it works amazingly as a podcast. But I know this would make a cracking TV series as well, in the different places and all that kind of stuff and the visuals. And I think total credit to you for creating, and for people who haven't listened to it yet, please do. The visuals that are created within your dialogue, within the locations that are that we feel like we're in those places. And I know you said the other day you maybe want to do a little bit more of that in future kind of episodes and series as well. But it really does bring you right in, and I think that we feel like we're on this journey of searching for a superhero, but searching for what each of the characters wants, and fabulous performances that are really intimate and drawn in and are just so believable from all levels of writing to performance as well. So I'm just going to finish up there, and I'm delighted that you've told us all, well, kind of told us, who your potential superheroes or alter egos could be. Ewan has many, Chris has many. Kirsty was much more direct there.
Need to reevaluate, because I've just realised that Rogue is not accurate. Does she not kill everybody if she touches them? That's really bad. That's really bad. Could it not be like Jean Grey or Mystique or something like that instead?
Jean Grey becomes Dark Phoenix, who then tries to kill everyone. Rogue doesn't necessarily kill everyone if she just stops. She can just take their power for a bit.
Touch anybody and then I'm fine.
Only friction, yeah,
I
but
need to
just don't
think
touch
about
for
that.
long. See,
Well,
it's not easy, is it? It's not bloody easy.
It's 10. I just think of all the I was thinking of like clumsy people, whatever. I think I need to put it to a vote and see what other people think,
Mr. McGee.
because I'm not coming up with good ones for myself at all.
Yeah, I think that
by the way, I think Inspector Gadget absolutely counts as a superhero.
Yeah.
Just
That
to be
makes
clear, Inspector
sense
Gadget is a superhero.
He means well. He always means well.
We'll give you Inspector Gadget then, don't worry about that. And maybe we'll do some tweeting and some social media posts about superheroes that we all make. Maybe get the audience to think about what superhero the audiences that are listening to this maybe think that they are as well. Let's have a little bit of fun with this. Let's make the audience feel part of this journey that you guys are taking us on, that we are going to be on until the 22nd of March, when the last one hits all the podcast channels. And after that, that's not the end, of course, because you can still continue to listen to them. They will be there, and we are delighted that you can catch all these on all the podcast channels. But the Big Light as well, which is a podcast network, are working with us and hosting these as well. So please do head to their website and you'll be able to get the first 3. If you haven't listened to them yet, you might listen to 1, you might listen to 2, you might listen to all of them. And as I say, there's a beep moment at the end of the 3rd one, but that's all I'm saying, because that just sounds quite good, and it was just quite nice, but it's a proper cliffhanger. So thank you to Andrew, thank you to Colin, thank you to Ewan, Kirsty, and Mr. Chris Patrick. As I said the other day to you in a message, you're a true gentleman and a real talent. So I think absolute inspiration to people to keep going with an idea that you had all those years ago. I think too many people give up far too soon, but you've kept that creativity going, and it's been, it is a pleasure to work with you and to have such a fantastic cast. So thank you so much, folks. And I know that we will be doing another one of these at the end once all the episodes are out. And you know what? Thank goodness, because we can all talk about it.
Yeah.
So,
I can't wait to actually be able to talk about this.
I know.
Same. Like, yeah, it'll be
I'm
fun.
going to have to actually listen to him, aren't I?
that will be on the 22nd of March after the final episode has landed. And again, that will be at 8 o'clock. So thank you very much, folks, and have a lovely evening and happy podcast listening.